which I used to go up to London to go to the circle. And one day, I was sitting in the circle, and suddenly I saw a white witch, a woman dressed in white with a tall conical hat, sitting at a desk in front of me in the middle of the circle. There's all these people round. And as she worked, she was throwing papers. That's what I used to do down in the basement. And she was, the papers she was throwing were pentagonal paper. So I knew that it was.
That was Annie.
I knew it was Toni Smith.
Toni Smith, sorry.
And that she had been guiding me.
Yes.
But one of the things I'd done was I found her handwritten account of her, what she knew. She wrote it down longhand, and I copied it into on the word processor. I saved it. So I'd been working on her stuff, and she helped me. I just knew one day I had to study Gilgamesh. So I went into Salisbury. I said, have you got a book about Gilgamesh? They produced one. I thought, oh, I don't want that. Well, I'll buy that. Okay, I'll have to. It's the only one you got. So I bought it. And it, instead of being the original, all the bits that you normally read, it was the brand new, very comprehensive research of this man who read all of the tablets. There's thousands of tablets, and he collated them.
Wow. So
that he had built up the Epic of Gilgamesh by using 2,000 tablets from all the universities around everywhere. It's a wonderful story. And so I bought that, and then I read it, and then I just began to think. I thought, let's read this. I'm going to draw out what the numbers are telling me. Oh, and then Mike Warren gave me a book, and it said...
I've seen it. Was that the...
It said two-thirds is the core of music.
Yes.
And I spent hours with my calculator proving to myself that all the notes are connected by the spiral of fifths. And because I did it just like you did all the hard work of B's, I did all the hard work of calculating absolutely everything. I worked incredibly hard for ages, stacks. But it paid off because the more I worked, the luckier I got. Things fell into my lap, I was, I'll get an idea, I wonder this, I'll check it.
Yep. Yeah.
But now, since my strokes and things, I've really lost. But there's Hamlet's Mill, that's a very good book.
I was going to ask you where it fits in, actually.
You can borrow that if you want, very good book. Well, you haven't got time to read it, I don't think.
I struggle to read it, but
wonderful book.
Where does it fit in with Gilgamesh and...
It's the man
harmonics
saying that myths all over the world are the same.
Right, okay. So he's writing about myths from around the world.
Myths, yeah. He writes quite a lot about Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
He's looking for something. I thought, I know what you were looking for. You're looking for harmonics, and you don't know that.
It's classic, isn't it? It's classic, isn't it? I mean, it's people will really study things very closely, yet they're knowing that they're going somewhere, but they don't quite know where they're going.
Well, they don't. That's why you need spirit help, I think. You see, your bees are very important. I just know they are. First of all, you and me are connected to them with our hearts. What your heart wants for you is your destiny, really. You want.
You see, I put a lot of work in, but plenty of other people who put lots of work into bees. But I sometimes, I'm driving up today, I'm thinking, I'm asking myself, where am I going with all what I'm doing, you know? There's a reason why I'm doing all this. Where am I going? Where am I going? And it's not just to produce honey.
You don't need a reason to do it. It's your heart.
Yeah, exactly. Totally my heart.
Also, that what's wonderful is there's so much to find out.
It's almost endless.
Yeah, you're doing it because it's an amazing thing to do. Same as I'm looking for
it's a problem.
harmonics.
It's a problem without a true solution. You know, it's like approaching perfection is an asymptote. You can't quite reach it.
As you know, I say, if I don't want to be right because I'd be devastated if it was also boring. What I know is far too boring that it could all be that. On the other hand, you can see what the man said when he said, I'm sitting on the beach and turning over the stones. That's what Newton said, I think, or there are people like that. He said, I just look at things and every now and again I find a jewel. But
Yes,
it's all prawning.
Well, lots of things that I do are a bit like, I like prawning, you know. They are. Same
My advice to everybody, I said to Daisy, I couldn't think of anything else to say, but keep on prawning.
Yeah, of course.
The lovely pictures you sent back, or Rachel took one of you in the outer gully, wasn't it, or something, standing
In a gully.
in a gully.
Yeah. I very rarely fish the outer gully, usually because the tide isn't good.
Oh, the outer gully, yeah. In a gully, of course, that's what I meant. The outer gully is the one that goes through past the island, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't usually go much beyond the inner gully and the island. I'll fish the island a lot, and then I'll go back on myself, because there are quite a few pools, especially if it's quite low, that you can go to until you get to the one that catches them all.
The thing about you is you have always been interested. The earliest image I have of you is picking daisies off the lawn outside the cottage and looking at them.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Of course.
You thought, this is worth looking at. And it's that curiosity that, for me, I was standing in the garden in India, and Susie was saying, actually, we are the blood system of a giant. It's the giant who lives in the sky. And I thought, if all of this is the body of the giant, he will bleed if I dig a hole.
Oh.
I asked the gardener to dig a hole. It didn't.
And he didn't?
He didn't bleed.
No.
Susie said, it won't bleed.
No. But no, it's funny that you asked the gardener to dig a hole.
Well, he had this wonderful tool, very sharp.
Did he? Yeah, lovely.
The earth was like
hard,
like
I'm sure.
iron. Couldn't possibly dig, it was just dust.
Right, Dad, let's have a cup of coffee. Shall we?
Yeah. Help us all.